Okay, good morning, everyone. I hope you guys had a good weekend, a good Sunday. Rod, you're still alive. I'm glad you didn't eat too much. Um, Today's topic is personal development. So what I want to do with that is I want you guys to share what you're currently reading and what is something that you have gotten out of it, like to share with us, something you've learned. And if you have any questions about personal development, like like how do you guys read and get things out of it? Like any tips that you're curious about, or you don't have to do the second part, but if you have one of those, go ahead and do that. But let's remember too that we are going to stick to the 15-minute time limit. So if you guys have more questions or whatever, we can always post them. So if you'd like to go first.
I'll go first. So I'm reading currently, actually, I've been talking to my dad about it too, a book called The Mastery of Love. And it's actually one of the trilogies from the Four Agreements. And something that I really got from it was that we have our body is like an oven of love. So we make love constantly. And a lot of times we are looking for somebody to give our love to. And like we always try to please somebody, or we're just trying to give away our love. And sometimes we forget to love ourselves, and we forget that we have plenty of love for ourselves, that we don't need to necessarily depend on others' love. So I thought that was really interesting. It really talks about, like I said, self-love and learning to love yourself, and learning different ways to love yourself. So that's what I got from it. And I really don't have much questions. I've been doing personal development since I was young. I really didn't know it, but I've been going to church every Sunday since I was a little girl. And for me, that's personal development as well. Every time I go to service, I feel that I definitely get something from it that grows myself spiritually. So no questions here. I'm going to pass it to Christine.
Well, Cheryl, so on your on your info that you've learned with your Mastery of Love, like what's a tip or something that you can give us so that we give away our love we keep it instead of giving it away all the time?
I guess the biggest tip would be don't feel like you have to look for somebody to give your love to, or sometimes even people look for love in others. Like we don't love ourselves, so we're looking for somebody to love us. But the truth is that we are like an oven of love. Like we create love. We are love. So the tip would be don't necessarily look for love in other people because you feel like you're lacking it in yourself.
Cool.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, Christine.
Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I read one, and I found out this morning, well, I just gave myself away, but I read it this morning, that it's a children's book. So it's really cute. It's very basic and very easy to understand, so it's perfect for a morning read. But it's about bullying, and it's about pretty much that it just takes one person to stand up to someone who's bullying them, or in what we do, it just takes one person to make a change, one person to help somebody change their life, and to help them get more confidence, and to help them stand up to others. And I feel that it's kind of what we do, helping people get their confidence back, helping people to get healthy. And we're kind of, I guess, our bully here, just like they said in all our trainings, is the obesity epidemic. And everybody in all the fast food chains are just, we don't have competitors, we just have what we're fighting against. So really it showed that it was so in the book there's a bunch of different colors, and it said blue was feeling blue, but red always said it was amazing, and green, yellow, orange, and purple all thought that blue was nice, but nobody ever stood up to red until one day the number 1 came up and stood up to red. So at the same time, if you're not the one person to do anything, you're part of the problem, because if you don't stand up for something, then the issue will continue and nothing will change. So it takes each and every one of us to stop something from getting bigger, if that makes sense. So that's what I got from it. So it's a children's book, but it was actually really cool to read. And sometimes it's nice to go back to that and not have to read a 500-page personal development book to get something, to get a nugget from it. So I'm really excited about that.
What's your tip for?
Personal development is actually one of my Achilles heels. So I guess my question would be, what is everybody, how do you stay tuned to your personal development? Like Cheryl, I know you go to church, so that's something you do, not, no pun intended, but religiously. But for everyone else, do you guys listen to personal development? Is it also something you struggle with, or do you have a good system to help you stay plugged into it? Anyone can answer.
Oh, I'll go.
I struggle with it too, because weekly is not enough. You need to do it daily. But I think it's just all about finding something that you really want to read, to be honest, because when I started reading the 4 Agreements, like, I couldn't stop reading that book. But then there's some books, not going to really mention them, that I read, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to wake up and read this. So it just depends. I've been really trying to find something that interests you, for me at least. Anybody else have an answer?
Oh yeah, I have something. It's mainly, one thing I do is like a topic of, if I want to work on maybe active listening, which is what I'm doing right now, and so I can understand people more and learn about them, and and so I correlate that to finding something that will help me out. Like right now, I'm reading a book by Chris Whiten. It's called The Effective Communication and the Success of Listening. And he just goes through this basic process on how to, like there's 3 levels of listening. Some people just do like surface listening. You don't really hear anybody. You just hear words. You don't understand what they're saying. Just try to have them. But then what that does is it just helps me progress in what I want to learn. So if I have if I'm missing something, or if I know that I'm listening, if I'm missing something and I know that I need something in my life, I just reach out to maybe the internet, or if I listen around and someone else is reading a book that could help me out, I'll really take a note, and then I'll follow up and try to get that book or try to get that audio tape and listen to it. But mainly it's just discerning what you need and then reaching out and finding it.
Cool. Am I popcorning, or is someone going?
Rod, do you want to just stay your turn and tell us what you learned from your what you're
Yeah,
doing?
like I was saying, I'm reading this it's an audio book on effective communication and listening. And Chris Whiten is really good. He's like a business consultant, and he goes through these steps on how you can be successful at listening in a business environment. How there's 3 levels. First off, there's like a superficial level of listening where you just hear words coming out of somebody's mouth. And then there's level 2 where you understand what they're saying, but then there's a deeper intrinsic level, which is level 3, where you hear it, understand it, and then you're able to interpret it, and you're able to use it for that person's help, to help that person and to help yourself. So you're helping each other. And yeah, he just goes through. It's really cool because it really makes you understand that most of the time we're just listening. We're not really effectively listening to people. We're just hearing them. And, it goes back to our first CHIPS class on this round when Jerry was saying how he recaps and summarizes what another person says. And what that does is that really helps the other person understand that first off, you're listening, and then it helps you to interpret what they're saying so you can better help them if you're in that type of relationship with them. So, we are health coaches. We're always talking to people, and, we have to get them to talk a lot more. That's another thing he said too. and just be better listeners. So that's what I've been past like maybe month or 2 months, talking less, asking a question and letting that person just give me all the information, just letting them vent, just letting them release all of their information and their ideals. And talk less, listen more. That's what he always says. Talk less, listen more.
Awesome.
Love it.
Albert?
So I will pass it to Lauren.
Oh, okay. So I reread all of my highlighted parts from the Four Agreements because I actually really like that book as well. And the one thing, well, a couple of things, but the one big thing that stuck out to me was this huge thing that I must have really liked because it's like circled. But it said, don't be concerned about the future. Keep your attention on today and stay in the present moment. Live one day at a time and always do your best to do these agreements. Today is the beginning of a new dream. And so with that, like there are agreements, obviously, that I can work on. And when I reread that, it just, like in my head, I just thought, okay, it doesn't matter like what already happened. It doesn't matter what you did before or how you were acting yesterday. The only thing that matters is what you do from now on, and how you, like what you agree to yourself to do. And, everything starts today. Everything is a new day. So that one really stuck with me. And then there was one more. Oh, this was like kind of hit me a little bit, but it's talking about like, so with these agreements or like with anything you do, like everything you do is a choice. And so it's like talking about like, when you're sad or upset or anything like that, like you're choosing to be that way. Like, yeah, things happen in your life, but like how you deal with it is always your choice. But the same goes for the opposite. Like you choose to be happy as well. Like you choose to have a good day. You choose to, look the other way or to get over things faster, whatever it is, like that's your choice as well. And so that's something that both of those things are things I'm going to keep working on and keep practicing, so that the positivity is coming out more than dwelling on the negative. So, and I will pass to Albert.
So I've had the Four Agreements. Somebody gave me the Four Agreements many years ago. So it's been sitting on my library shelf for a while. I never thought about, ever reading it until, Jerry was like, okay, you guys are reading the Four Agreements. So this is the first time I've read it. And kind of what I'm getting out of it, and I'm through the first to the second agreement. I just finished the second agreement. Just kind of, being aware of what you say to people, being impeccable with your word, being aware of what I say, not only to, my kids or my wife or my family, just, also, what I say to myself, kind of the self-talk, the, okay, why did I just do that? Why am I forgetting things? I must be getting old, that kind of stuff. So kind of, blaming myself for things that are happening, I need to kind of turn that around and not focus, not dwell so much on, judging myself. And, this might sound crazy, but if I put a glass of something next to myself, I will knock it over at some point. So, and I've always tried to figure out, well, maybe there's something going on in my life that I need to fix, and blah, blah. And I have been doing that for years. And I think part of it has to do with, saying that to myself, well, gee, I'm going to knock this thing over. I know I'm going to knock it over, or blaming or judging myself. There's something going on in my life. I need to just kind of, forget about that and just, accept it. And so that's kind of something that came up when I was reading the book, that I knock, if there's a glass something around me, I'll knock it over, which is, I know it sounds crazy. And then, the taking things personally, that was kind of an eye opener for me too, because I do take things personally. I have friends, we get into it, and I have other friends that take things personally. and we get into it, and it's like, you know, we're beating our chest and blah, blah, blah. This person wants to be right. And, you know, it starts to get that sympathetic nervous system going. Your heart starts racing. You start getting frustrated and pissed off and whatever because you're trying to argue with somebody. And sometimes it's, you know, about something, it might be sports or something crazy, but you're getting, you know, I'm getting fired up because, you know, somebody's saying, oh, you're crazy or you're da-da-da-da. And it's, I mean, I know it's kind of, sounds kind of crazy, but that kind of, you know, reading the book kind of made me understand, all right, dude, I don't need to take this so seriously, or what, you know, what are we talking about here? So just, I think what I'm going to do is just today, just do a little project, just kind of be aware of, you know, what I'm saying to people, how I'm reacting to, you know, what people say to me, and then just kind of, you know, maybe write things and just kind of see how I feel. Really being conscious of, okay, not taking things so personally and making sure that I'm saying things to people that are, you know, making them happy and not pissing them off. So that's what I'm doing. So hopefully I'll finish the book this week. It's pretty short, so
Awesome.
that's it.
Okay, thanks guys for sharing. I want to keep up with our time agreement. So just tomorrow is all about invitations and our daily method of operation. So just be thinking about that and what you're currently doing with that, and I'll create a question. And if you guys do have any more questions about personal development or anything, feel free to post them on the thread. Does anyone else have anything to say?
The homework, do you want us to post that? The homework that you had us do, the finding 2 things
From yesterday?
about other, yeah.
I mean, you just needed to like share that you like who you talked to. If you
Yeah,
didn't do it,
you-
feel free to keep doing it. There's no, you know, you had to do it yesterday or anything. And then the homework for
I mean, do you want us to post it in the thread? Because I actually did it.
just say that you did it. You don't have
Okay.
to share with what
All right.
what you learned, unless you want to, or if,
Okay.
you know, they're
All
okay.
right.
And then the homework for today
Okay.
is to do your personal development for today if you haven't. Cool.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yep.
Talk to you guys tomorrow.
You guys.
Have a good one.